Booking a holiday can be a stressful experience, making sure that you've got the best deals for flights, accommodation, tours, restaurants. It can leave you checking websites endlessly and, of course, being completely bombarded by advertising, fake reviews and pop-ups. Well, our next guest is striving to change all that with his platform Travlr. CEO Simon Tahanapi joins me now from Melbourne. Simon, thank you very much for being with us. I understand that the genesis of this idea was a PDF that became like the holy grail for anybody who wanted to head to Bali. So can you perhaps tell us about how it all began?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, look, it's a funny story, funnily enough. About almost 10 years ago now, my wife and I were planning our first trip across to Bali together, and Bali had always been a really special place for Lani, and she'd been there about 100 times by that point, and so she put together a document that outlined all of the best things to see and do and experience, so when I went over there with her, I could really immerse myself in the culture and fall in love with Bali like she had, and we put together a PDF document, and we went over there, and I fell in love with it. It worked a treat, and I guess when we came back, we started sharing that PDF document with friends and family, and it sort of took off. And this was 10 years ago now, so back when Facebook and Instagram and social channels were quite organic, and we quickly realised that we were onto something, because we went to bed one night, we shared the PDF, and then it went from 2 followers to, which was Lani and I, to 10,000 within a week. And so we sort of realised, well, you know, people are looking for authentic and real recommendations, and so we built a website and built a mobile app, and this is about 10 years ago, and we spent about 5 years sort of evolving this site, and it was always, I guess, Lani and I hiding behind the brand and the business. And then about 4.5, 5 years ago, we quickly went, well, we want something more. We want real people to be able to create their own recommendations of things to do and see in a destination. And so we created Travlr, which is essentially a platform that lists everything in a location, but lets people kind of create their own recommendations and their own referrals, and then be able to share that with their friends and family. You know, these days people want real and authentic experiences, and understanding what their friends have done helps that. So, yeah, bit of a journey. Absolutely.
100 trips to Bali is probably pretty handy for a couple of recommendations. I can understand why the PDF was so sought after. That is incredible. And then, okay, so it took around 5 years to grow it from this PDF that you were sharing far and wide into this business. Were the steps that you had to take, were they intuitive, or did you have to kind of get a lot of outside help to figure out where to take this business and how to grow it?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, look, it was actually a lot of listening to our users. About 5 years ago, we created this platform that let people go on the site and create recommendations for their friends and family. And, you know, it was an amazing platform, because people go, here's my favourite hotels, my favourite restaurants, the favourite vegan restaurants, or whatever it might be. And we started linking that to other people that were like that. You know, a single mum or a family of 5 don't want to go to where schoolies people are going. And what we did is we created this site that connected all of these things, and then we didn't give them the ability to book it. So people were going on our site and creating all these amazing lists of their favourite hotels, so to speak, and then we didn't give them the ability to book. And so it was a whole lot of different, you know, errors and things that went wrong that sort of led us to this point where again, a couple of years ago, we went, well, let's go and add and try and monetize and sort of bring in the booking segment of this into these lists and recommendations. And so we went and partnered with Expedia and Agoda and all these sites, and then in an effort to try and give our users bookability functionality from lists, we quickly made the entire process much, much worse, because they ended up having 50 to 60 tabs open. And so that's where we sort of really brought it back in. We listened to our users and we said, well, let's try and bring every segment of travel, every different major partner and tourism operator into the one site. And so you can dream, you can plan, and you can book any segment through an array of different partners, but all on the one site.
Yeah, so an incredible service then for the user. How do you get paid? What's your business model in all this?
Yeah, sure. So there's a couple of different ways. Obviously, we've got commission on every single product. And over the last sort of 2 to 3 months, we've actually been approached by a lot of large media organisations, tourism operators and government bodies who have sort of seen our technology and gone, wow, like what you're creating here is an end-to-end travel platform that engages a community, interacts with a community, but then can be monetised for people who have an existing audience. Look, for us, we're never going to get in the fight with the big media juggernauts of, you know, your Expedias or Agodas or whoever it might be. And so our strategy is more around finding niches or partnering with people who do have an existing audience, and then trying to drive a travel product or a complementary service or ancillary revenue stream to sort of any of those partners. And that's something that's really highlighted in the last couple of weeks and months is trying to drive, giving big brands and businesses the ability to sell travel to an existing audience, I guess, which is where we monetize, clipping the ticket. So.
You're certainly busy growing the kind of the company, but you've also had 2 pretty major rounds of funding, as I understand it, or at least 2. to. So can you tell us a bit about how that was and about how much of the business you had to give up to get that cash coming in?
Yeah, so we've done obviously a bit of our own investments over the last couple of sort of 10 years. You know, Lani and I worked full time for 5 and 6 years, and then labour of love, pretty much putting every cent back into the business. And then about, what would it be, about 4 years ago, I sort of said to Lani, I said, I've got an idea. Instead of just us being in the Bali Bible and being this platform that's making money and we're finally profitable, I want to flip it on its head and pour every cent we've ever made and pour it back into this business to become a global travel product. And look, 18 months ago, we were fortunate enough to do a Series A capital raise of $5 million with some really amazing New Zealand investors, and then we're obviously still at the moment going through our Series B raise, which is quite exciting too. So,
I guess my final question for someone with a growing Travlr company such as yours is: any big tips for where to head in 2019? Where's your #1 location, mate?
Yeah, good question, good question. Oh, look, Bali's always been a special place, but obviously we're also in New Zealand, Fiji, and we'll be launching the global site very shortly. But look, for us, just travel in general, you know, it makes us all better human beings travelling the world, and I think the more that we can incentivise and sort of, you know, get people dreaming and inspiring to travel more, I think it actually improves, you know, just people in general, because you start immersing yourself to cultural experiences and different things out there. So, yeah, look, Bali, Fiji, Indonesia, anywhere, just reach out to us and we'll help you out.
Good on you. Simon Tehenepe there from Travlr. Really appreciate your time, mate.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time.